It's time to celebrate 75 years of milestones in healthcare, as well as caring for our nation's veterans. Here this morning is Dr. Richard Stone, executive in charge at the Veterans Health Administration, the VHA. Doctor, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So let's start at the very beginning. This started back in the 40s. What's the mission of the VHA?
Well, there's 4 missions of the VHA, and it grew up out of the needs of the 18 million American heroes that were coming home from fighting the Second World War. And the 4 missions are to provide excellent health care for America's veterans. And number 2, to do research in war-related injuries and illnesses. And number 3, to educate America's physicians. And people don't know that 70% of America's doctors are trained in VA hospitals. And our 4th mission, the one that has gotten so much publicity in the last year, is to be the backstop of the American civilian healthcare system should they be overwhelmed by an earthquake or a hurricane or a pandemic.
And what role is the VHA playing now in the battle against COVID-19?
Well, we've continued to deliver services in our 175 hospitals to veterans, including the thousands of veterans that have been infected by this COVID virus. And today we have over 2,500 veterans in the hospital across the nation, and including across your area of California that has been hit so hard. In addition to that, in 47 different states, governors have asked for our support in either providing beds for critically ill patients or to go into even extended care facilities to provide infection control services or engineering services, or even our nurses and physicians to come in to provide care to reduce the risk to the most at-risk Americans.
And let's talk about some of the milestones of the VHA that I don't think people are aware of.
Well, we developed the CT scanner. We developed the first liver transplant in America was done in a VA hospital. We developed the cardiac pacemaker. We developed the nicotine patch. And as you go through those developments, you recognize the fact that those 4 missions of research and delivery of health care as well as education have all come together to deliver extraordinary benefit to the American veteran as well as to the American people.
How do doctors get involved with the VHA so that they get some training there?
Well, we have 1,700 academic affiliations across the country. In fact, virtually every single medical school in the nation is associated with us, and most of those physicians come from, during their training, doing rotations through our VA hospitals or being trained primarily in our VA hospitals. And it's why so many of them choose to stay with us. You know, over the last year, we have hired over 65,000 additional employees in order to respond and have the agility and flexibility to respond to this pandemic. In California alone, there's over 31,000 employees of the VA.
I know you don't have a crystal ball. Can you kind of look ahead, though, to see what maybe even the next 5 to 10 years will mean for the VHA?
You know, the VA is the largest integrated healthcare system in the nation, and our ability to provide lifelong care to a veteran is a model for the rest of the American healthcare systems. I think you'll continue to see over the next decade and then frankly the next 75 years, the VA continuing to lead the nation in integrated healthcare and in reducing risks to our veterans and our heroes.
You know, this is not a time in our history where we are able to celebrate many achievements, but it's nice that we can recognize the VHA and the VA at this time to at least say thank you for all that you're doing to help with our health care, which is so vitally important today.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk about these 75 years and the decades that are in front of us as we continue to do this. If any of your viewers would like additional information or want to know if they're eligible for care, they can contact their local VA medical center, or they can go on va.gov either them or their family, to find out any information they need. But thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to celebrate these 75 years.
Well, it's been our pleasure. And Doctor, thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And stay right there. We'll be right back.